I love the way the First Gen Lounge makes me feel.
Because it creates a space where I belong.
Where we're able to create community.
The fact that it's a community.
It's a safe place.
It also gives me a place to understand different perspectives.
The stories of these individuals prescribe transformational perspective.
I receive encouragement, enlightenment, empowerment.
And also serve as a catalyst to just keep going.
Where we're able to be our true selves.
I'm allowed to be an unapologetic first gen.
And above all else, tell our story.
And every episode is unique.
I love it.
I'm your host, Dr. Eve, and I'd like to welcome you to the First Gen Lounge.
Well, we are here and you are back, and that's a fact. Am I tripping? No, I ain't tripping. What's up? What's up? I'm glad you're here this week, and if you are new to the First Gen Lounge, I'm so glad that you're here too. Like, I love you. Look at you, spending time with me spending time with you. Hey, boo. So I'm going to dig in. I have been talking a lot lately about this subtle rebrand, right? Is it subtle, not so subtle? I'll let you be the judge of that. And I know some people like, what in the world is she doing? And here's my answer. Me. I'm doing me. So I thought it would be a really good time, though, to just sit with you and to dig a little deeper into, this rebranding concept, this idea of like, why are you rebranding and what's going on? Really? Nothing bad is going on at all. Here's the thing. I absolutely love being an entrepreneur because for me, being an entrepreneur has been this ultimate freedom venture. Like, I'm just free. I'm free to be who I am, however I am in this world. And it's just a joy. Like, it's really a joy. But with even the freedom that I have, the freedom of time, the freedom of creativity, and I've said this before, there's a level of freedom that also comes with like a level of responsibility that will hit you over the head. And I mean, we're all free. We're all responsible for things, right? But for me, especially in being business, it's learning that there's a responsibility to survive and thrive. And sometimes that means that you've got to make changes, right? And so for me, it's taking time to really assess my own brand, think about where I want to be years from now, and like really say, am I aligned? Like, is this working for me? Is this where I'm trying to be? Is this it? Pretty much. And not just that, but having people, especially within your audience and like your coaches, your mentors, whoever you're, collaborating with to help you succeed, to like just be honest, like, is this working? Is this not working? Tell me what you think. Give me some feedback. So as I have been going through this process as of late, just thinking about what my recent rebrand, has meant to me. And a lot of that has been visual stuff, getting some clarity, or not even just some clarity, like being more clear in my marketing to my audience and stuff. I just thought about, reasons why you should rebrand. So if you are considering a rebrand, but don't kind of want to do it, or not sure if you kind of want to do it, or you just don't know, or maybe you will do a rebrand in the future, here are some things for you to consider, because it's important that as we grow and that we learn, especially as entrepreneurs, that we're sharing with our entrepreneurial community to be able to like go get it. So I'm going to, just give you 5 things today. I'm not going to run out with 9, but because I will, but just 5 things that I want you to consider, as you're thinking about, again, possibly just doing your own rebrand, or if this should come up in the future. And do I insert my disclaimer here? I am not a brand marketing strategy specialist. No, but really though, as somebody who's going through, a process of rebranding and who's had to rebrand over the years, I do think the experience of approaching it is definitely something worth sharing. So if things aren't working out right now, and when I say right now, maybe that right now has been a couple of years. If it ain't working out by now, then maybe it's time for you to make some changes. And here's the thing. Because it's not working out doesn't mean you have to quit. Maybe you just need to reapproach what you're doing and how you're doing it. Oh, I wasn't even trying to rhyme. See, it's some skills. So like for real, if it's not working out, if you aren't making the kind of money you want to make, if you aren't getting, the kind of interest from the right audience that you were like hoping to target, if you're just not building like in the way that you'd hope for, if it's just not working out, doesn't mean that you failed, but maybe something needs to change. And then here's the thing for me about rebranding. Rebranding isn't always about changing logo or changing colors or anything that's like necessarily outwardly obvious. Although for me, sometimes it does translate to being outwardly obvious. But really, it's about being able to say, even internally, like, here's what we need to happen. I need to happen within, the business that I have to be able to do X, Y, and Z. Am I getting this? Do my numbers tell me that I'm getting this? And if not, maybe I need to tweak this thing. So like I just mentioned, my copy, my content, speaking to the right group to attract the right people in who are fit for the services and products that I offer. So if it's not working out, maybe it's time to rebrand, because I don't believe in quitting. I believe, you can sink or swim, but damn it, I'm going to swim. And if swimming means I need to, change the water that I'm in, get out the ocean and go to a swimming pool or something, like, do what you got to do. So if things aren't working, maybe it's time to rebrand. And then really sit down with your mentor, with your business coach, with the brand strategist, and figure out, like, what are the things that you would like to rebrand and see different about your business, again, to also cater to your audience that will be mutually beneficial and help you get to where you're trying to go. One of the other things being that you believe you've evolved. And so being someone who has been a solopreneur, sole proprietor for many years, it's getting to a place even where I'm like, I've evolved. Like, I am still a single member LLC, but I have a team. And I have had a few people, a part of my team for a couple of years now, but I've grown my team to have at least 9 people, not trying to be funny, 8 or 9 people, I'm not counting right now, but that I'm working with to continue to help grow my business. But not just that, when I think about what my business is, who I am at the moment, it's the idea that, and I said at the moment, right? I have really done a great job as, showing up as this speaker, as this podcaster, as this person, that's like an individual. But for me, it's wanting to go larger, do things, just have a more expansive reach. And when I thought about the Purpose Professor, which I love, and it still continues to be my operational business name, the Purpose Professor Limited Liability Company. And I was like, I'm going to try out something different for a change, because I'm evolving to a place where to hear the Purpose Professor is to hear one person, right? But then to hear Evangeline Worldwide is to think, what is that? That was my thought. It's been my thought. Hey, you like it? I love it. So for what it's worth, then I've evolved to not seeing myself as just a person, but as what I do as a functional business, as a company, not just a speaker, but a speaker that's a part of a company, like, something that's really like, like you really own one. And so with that, I was like, I got to, again, change my thinking, and I have to change my way of how I show up in the world if I want what I'm dreaming for. And not just that I had to stop being scared of my dream. Because if I'm looking at people like Oprah, Ellen, Queen Latifah, or anybody else for that matter, right? People who give us big dreams, and like, shout out to all of them, my colleagues. I haven't tripped myself out today, aren't I? But I mean, it's good to laugh. I'm in a really good place. I've been really excited about this. I'm really just far more confident in the things that I'm doing, because with this rebrand has come this identity of Eve really showing up in the way that Eve wants to show up. And not just that, but showing up in a way that's, again, best fit for the work that I'm doing and for the people I'm trying to help out here in the universe. Okay. So with believing that you've evolved, if you have evolved and, your brand is not speaking to the evolution, go ahead and give a good, rebrand a try. And here's the thing that, I would say about rebranding. It doesn't have to be big and huge. It doesn't. It can be, again, very small, subtle things. It could be one color in the brand colors. It could be one word in the mission statement. Like, this is my take on it. If it's going to help you to elevate yourself, by all means. So yeah, but me thinking that I've definitely evolved, and I've shared this, our show, the podcast, the First Gen Lounge, we are in over 47 countries. And I say that, but to process what that really means, it's like, that's international. And own that. Like, don't be afraid of it. Own it. Like, own it. Like, own it. And part of owning it and wanting to be somebody that, changes the world, to be honest with you, because I talk about changing the world. And we talked several times. Changing the world doesn't mean that you have to be, rich or famous. It's helping people, no matter where they are, be who they are, and then they go out into the world and do the things that they do and help change the world too. So it is a domino effect, or it's a Celestine prophecy vibe out here. There we go. Celestine prophesies out here for the folks. So the other thing, three, you have decided to hone in on something particular. So this may be why you want to rebrand. Let's just say, like similar to myself, I've had this really big focus on first generation college graduates, right? And that's what I put out there, in my mission and what I'm doing and kind of branding as my tagline. And I'm not changing from doing that, but I have changed my positioning in thinking about, I want to help entrepreneurs. I want to help, people who are first generation college graduate. I want to help women. I want to help people of color, right? And I can do that, but I feel like with me switching it back to uplifting you in life and biz, it still allows me to speak to my first gen audience and be very present. In the same token, it allows me to have a broader appeal. And so it's like, the riches are in the niches. That's what they say. And I believe that. I absolutely believe that. But you can have more than one niche. And then with that in mind, thinking about me wanting to work with different groups of people by just saying first generation college graduate didn't necessarily invite some of those other people into the fold. And so reason why the first gen lounge to the first gen lounge, because this our joint, this what we do over here. But then thinking about for other people who may be too broad and want to hone in on a specific group, that is women, that is people in tech, that is military veterans, that is, whatever that specific group is. Maybe that's why you want to rebrand. And again, it may be something as simple as changing your mission statement or the tagline for your business or whatever phrase or terminology you're using in your marketing and stuff. So if you hone in on something particular, or I guess the flip side, if you decide to want to maybe scale back a little bit to help a few more folks, and similar to myself, I love the people that I get to work with, regularly. And because of how I've set myself up, I'm not changing having an emphasis on working with first generation college graduates. That's still at the core of what I'm doing, but I am making room for it to be more communal and to be able to have people who are not first generation be a part of the community, but very much so to learn and to grow as a part of it. So it is what it is. I think it was a good move, and it's something that's made me think about being able to be multifaceted in what I'm doing as well. To still be very focused and know who, again, I'm working with, but to be able to show up in spaces and still bring the first gen conversation to the table. So that ain't changed, to be for real. That ain't changed at all. It's just I'm adding to the family, and I'm good with that. Because there are a lot of dynamic Black women of color who are not first generation that I'd love to work with, and that may have an appeal. But for me, seeing the business and only thinking first gen is kind of like, oh, well, I can't work with you. Nah, sis, you can. And, and I've seen other people do it in a way similar to what I'm doing now, where you talk about who you are, or you talk about things that are important as part of your mission, or talk about it in the story that you tell. There we go, in the story that you tell. And you will still continue to attract the right people. So it's all good. I'm just thinking too, I want to have fun with it, and I want to help more people, love my people. I want to help more people. So that's what that is. Spent a little longer on that than I thought I would, but okay. So then let's get to number 4, which would be, if there are changes in your internal structure, you may want to rebrand. And what I mean by that is, if you currently have a partner or partners and you guys decide to go your separate ways, and what you built with your business is something that is reflective of the both of you. But now with this new, under new management. So now with things changing, you realize that this isn't, again, what you'd want to represent that forward movement. Maybe, it's symbolic of you letting go of what was with that person to get into this, again, the new phase, the evolution. So similar to, believing that you've evolved, thinking about how things are, if your internal structure has changed and what is going to happen with the business going forward is changing as well because of that, then it'll be a great time to rebrand and to think about how you're showing up in the world. Again, because missions change, visions change, demands change. We know with what happened recently with C-19, I gave it a nickname. Doesn't sound so nasty. But, what happened recently, a lot of people had to really pivot, right? Which pivot, but don't you dare quit. And so with that in mind, just thinking of if that's happened to you and what you need is that fresh break, that's that starting over, and to make that company now what it's truly meant to be, if that's the situation that you're in, then by all means, a rebrand is something that's worth considering, because I think it'll not just give you that fresh outlook for yourself, but will also reintroduce what you're doing and how you, again, want to show up and serve to your audience or audiences. And that's something that is definitely a bonus. So, yeah. And then last but not the least, something that I think is worth considering for a rebrand is avoiding issues with competitors. Now, you might be like, well, I ain't even studying them competitors. I'm not, because, studying, Burger King, McDonald's, or whoever. Can I drop their names? Okay, we're not competitors. By the way, who's got the best fries? Is it Wendy's? Is it Burger King, McDonald's? I think it's Bojangles. Personally, I love Bojangles. Shout out to North Carolina. So anybody from Bojangles, if you ever hear me, hear this Lifetime fries, I welcome it. I welcome it. But yeah, so anyway, to avoid issues with competitors. And this is what I mean. Let's say there's something like a book or a magazine or a song or anything that has been written and it's copyrighted and it's the ownership of a brand or another business, period, right? If you take that and you decide to do even like a small spin-off of that thing, it can become problematic for that other business or brand or what have you, and that can cause legal issues. So you want to avoid that. For example, deeper. If there's a song, let's say California Love, right? California Love was a song by who? Pop, all right? And you want to take that song California Love and you want to, do something with it within your brand, like do water bottles or create shirts or something, right? That could be problematic, if that is copyrighted. Like you out here with California Love, like, wait a minute, like, yeah, you may have switched your logo up, but where'd you get that from? Is this okay for me to take? No, it's not okay for you to take. Don't take other people's stuff. But let's just say like the book Think and Grow Rich. If you take the Think and Grow Rich and you make even a small spin off of that, there could, again, be issues if it causes confusion for people. Because they may see, Think and Grow It. Like, Think and Grow It, wait a minute, it's different. But that's not necessarily like, wait a minute. People are getting confused between Think and Grow Rich and Think and Grow It. So when they're looking for Think and Grow Rich, they're getting to Think and Grow It. And they're like, now you messing with our money. So again, if you think for even a minute that you're going to have some challenges again with other brands, with other businesses or companies, or if you look at them and think that you can just make a subtle change to something, then it's like, now. So let's just even say if there's a business that you're not aware of and they have been around just a little bit longer than what you've been around, or just maybe like longer for real, let's put it out there. And something that you end up doing, within your business is so similar to theirs that it can, again, become very problematic. I would say you can be the person to make the change or make the shift within your business, being that you're newer. One, you have more space to do it. But then the other thing too is if they come for you, then that's going to be a problem. So avoid those legal issues. And this is why it's also good to work with a lawyer, work with somebody who can help advise you through these things as you're thinking about what it means to make changes, for yourself and to show up in a way that works. That's checking copyrights. That's, doing a search for other businesses out there with names and services. And I know everything is not avoidable. Let's just go there. But if it's something that you cannot have a challenge with, don't have them problems. So just real quick, I want to run through those 5 things with you again to consider for rebranding. Like, again, if you want to do it now, if you think you may do it in the future, or you might find yourself in the future thinking about it, just come back to this. And, it's kind of like, oh, okay, some things to consider. But if things aren't working right now, then it may be time for a rebrand. If you believe that you have evolved, it might be time for a rebrand. If you have decided to hone in on something particular or just switch it up it's a little bit, who you serve or what you're doing, it might be time for a rebrand. If your internal structure changes, you lose a partner or you just do your own thing, but you're keeping the brand, hey, by all means, feel free to rebrand. And last but not least, if you want to avoid issues with other businesses, don't be that business that's taking people's stuff. Might be time to rebrand. So, don't be afraid of a rebrand. A rebrand can be a very fun, a very exciting, a very fulfilling thing. And it's about communicating what you're doing to your audience and making them aware of what you got going on. That makes a difference when you do start to rebrand. It makes it, to me, much easier, but also gives it, a space where there's clarity, and making your audience a part of your rebrand is a really important part of rebranding too. Let me say that. There's a bonus, because at the end of the day, if you get the buy-in from your community, then it's just, it will carry. That's my thought. So just want to, continue to encourage you in your journey. I want you to be successful in what you do. I believe in you. You show up for me. So, you believing in me continues to give me the motivation to just, go out here and get it and do, what I got to do. And just don't forget that it takes time to build a business, and it takes work for your business to truly become what you want it to become. So saying that to also say, at the end of the day, just continue to think about where you are, where you want to be, and what you got to do to get there. Constant evaluation and assessment is important for, your business well-being. And when you see that there's need to change, you change. Don't be afraid of making those changes, because again, it's just necessary. And sometimes your fear of not changing is the reason why things not going to work. Oh, okay. I ain't preaching today. But yeah, so on that note, I'm grateful that you're here as always. And if you are picking up what I'm putting down, please be sure to share this with someone who you believe would appreciate the message too. All right. I love you. Peace.